Hi, good evening. So let me introduce to you guys Dheeraj, already ranked 173 this year, and he has written with Anthropology as an optional subject. And I know him from 2021. He came to me for 2021 interviews. I was hopeful that he would be getting a good rank in 2021 itself, but something didn't happen. But 2023, he has written a couple of tests with me, and he was very meticulous, and he pays a lot of attention to detail. Meticulous, and one thing I can say in a better way about him is the precision with which he writes. Like whatever he says, he tries to qualify it in such a way that examiner would want to read it. So I believe that quality of him would have actually helped him to secure a very good rank. He also has got extremely good score in Anthropology. I can say 288 is a very good score that year. I mean, for 2023 attempt. So I thought I have requested him to interact with you. He has readily accepted. So you can ask questions confined to Anthropology, because there are many interviews of him in YouTube. You can just watch that. If you have any Anthropology specific questions and anything you're not like related to Anthropology, you can directly ask him. Yes, thank you.
Audible or no? Everyone is comfortable with English or Telugu? English is fine. Okay. So, in which stage of preparation you are? Beginning like reading prelims. Entamandi attempted cheyari ippardaka? Okay, one person has attempted. Two persons. Okay, so inka attempt ivvaledu meeru. So you are at that stage, right? So మీ syllabus కూడా ఇంకా అయిపోలేదు completely. GS అయిపోయిందా? GS also not done. Optional is also obviously not done. ఎంత వరకు అయిపోయింది మీకు optional? అచ్చా, so 1 to 5 అయిపోయినాయి. They're done. Okay, fine. Okay. So I was thinking monologue laga నేను మాట్లాడే బదులు it would be better if you ask questions and I would be addressing it. So I think I will do that. Starting lo there is one, I will plan it like this, one Q&A session. ఆ తర్వాత I will speak on certain items if I would feel it would be important for you to know, and again in the end Q&A పెడతాను నేను. Okay, so starting నేను ఆల్రెడీ చెప్పుకున్నాను, if you have any questions you can ask అని. We'll start with Q&A. You can ask anything, JS గురించి, optional, whatever.
Have you made any notes of your own preparation?
GS or optional? Optional. So what I did was I tried to do some little bit of smart work. ఏంటంటే that Akshay Jain book ఉంటుంది కదా, everybody must be knowing it. Anthropology Mystified by Akshay Jain. That blue book is there. So అదేంటంటే like he has crunched some standard books ఉంటాయి కదా, there are many standard books. సో తను ఏంటంటే క్రిస్ప్గా క్వశ్చన్ అండ్ ఆన్సర్ ఫార్మాట్లో హీ హెస్ రిటన్ ఇట్. సో దాంట్లో ఏంటంటే ఐఎమ్ నాట్ సేయింగ్ కంప్లీట్లీ కాపీ పేస్టెడ్, బట్ ఏంటంటే యూ వన్స్ యూ లుక్ ఇన్ టు ఇట్ యూ విల్ అండర్స్టాండ్ ఒక క్వశ్చన్కి డిమాండ్ ఎట్లా ఉంటుంది, వాట్ ఆల్ పార్ట్స్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు రైట్ అని. సో ఆన్ దట్ ఐ యాడ్ అనమాట వాట్ ఎవర్ థింకర్స్ ఐ ఫౌండ్ ఇట్ న్యూ. టాపర్ ఆన్సర్స్ కాపీస్లో కానీ, నోట్స్లో కానీ, ఆర్ కరెంట్ అఫైర్స్, వాట్ ఎవర్ కేస్ స్టడీ థింకర్స్, ఎనీథింగ్ ఐ యూస్ టు యాడ్ ఆన్ ఇట్. ఎందుకంటే వన్స్ హీ హాస్ రిటన్ ఎ గుడ్ మ్యాటర్, నేను మళ్ళీ దాన్ని సొంతంగా రాయాల్సిన అవసరం, టు సేవ్ టైం. అండ్ టు ద టాపిక్స్ విచ్ హీ హ్యాడ్ నాట్ అడ్రస్డ్, నేను ఐ మేడ్ A4 షీట్స్ మీద నోట్స్. ఓకే, సో దట్ వాస్ మై స్ట్రాటజీ. సో టు ద ఎలిమెంట్స్ విచ్ హీ హ్యాస్ నాట్ కవర్డ్, ఆ క్వశ్చన్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా, దేర్ ఐ హ్యాడ్ రిటన్ నోట్స్. అండ్ ఐ థింక్ టాపర్ నోట్స్ ఇస్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. I think I will refer to this. Paper 2 ki there is one who is this? She is there, Roja S. Rajan ani. Her notes are good. That you can refer to. And Mandar Patki is there. Anni Telegram lo unnai vallavi notes unnai. Paper 2 is very good. Mandar Patki and Roja S. Rajan. Like to the elements మీకు యూస్ఫుల్ గా అనిపించిన సెగ్మెంట్, ఏ సెగ్మెంట్స్ మీకు యూస్ఫుల్ అనిపిస్తే డూ లైక్ సెగ్మెంట్ అది ఒకటి పిక్ చేసుకుని నోట్స్ పెట్టుకోండి మీరు మీ దగ్గర, ప్రింట్అవుట్స్ కానీ వాట్ ఎవర్ యూ వాంట్. అండ్ పేపర్ 1 కి అయితే లైక్ టూ మెనీ పీపుల్, చాలా మంది ఉన్నారు. అమిత్ నారాయణ్ది ఇట్ ఈస్ గుడ్ ఫర్ అమిత్ నారాయణ్ సార్ది, ఇట్స్ గుడ్ ఫర్ దిస్ థింకర్స్ ఇస్ గుడ్. And archaeology and archaeology part is good, and primates part, this archaeology part anni like he has covered world archaeology, Indian archaeology, good, it's decent enough content, thinkers gaani, specifics gaani. So this ivi unnai. English no? Okay, fine. And actually socio-cultural anthropology I had made my own notes, but it is very bulky. So there's a problem what arises is that you will take a lot of time to revise, and there are too many thinkers. We try to be ambitious every now and then, but it kind of backfires. because in the exam you will only able to be present, I think, around 40% of what you know. So we think we'll make a lot of notes, we'll revise it, but that doesn't actually turn out in the real exam. In that sphere, there's a lot of time and stress factors that do play, because you have very limited time. Despite the element of practice, extensive practice you do, there is this issue that completely comes up. But I will say, that's why I'm saying you need to have very crisp notes. Okay, some people have like made series of notes to compress it. I have never done that, but maybe if possible, try to write it as crisp as possible. Otherwise, for 2, 3, 4, and 5, I think you can refer to any other toppers. They're almost the same. Nobody has done some extraordinary work there. Coming to biological anthropology, biological anthropology also, I've mostly referred to this Pinath and Akshay Jain's notes. And there is one, this book. Dr. Basmi's book. That book also you can refer, but also to the extent, don't take to the extent which is useful for you. Okay, and try to keep these sources limited. Okay, because otherwise, again, revision is a big issue. So these are the sources and notes. You can definitely look to any topper. I think Siddharth Ramkumar, maybe I did not look into his notes. Maybe he has put up his notes. I'll again try to give another list to sir if I can recollect any other ones. So this is about notes. And GS, I've made notes myself, notes for all the topics in A4 sheets only, because I felt that it is extremely essential that you have the 2-page or 3-page notes for every topic, which you can literally copy paste there in the exam. So that is regarding notes.
So apart from this material, what would be the external sources for some enrichment kind of thing in anthropology? What would they be?
See, you must be already knowing, because there are too many people speaking about this, but still I will try to say, there are too many things actually literally to speak sources, and you will start from IGNO. There is EPG Pathshala, okay, and there are PYQs, and these topper notes are there. Like coaching material is also there. I think you will find it either here in Vikas bookstore, or you can courier it from Delhi if you're not finding it. And
which ones?
I took this L2A question and answer booklets. They have it, right, like model answers. So those also I try to refer to the extent possible. And I think Susan Madam's notes also I had read. I think there was this question regarding Lucy, like Australopithecus. So that thing, it was in her notes. So like you never know from where you will find these questions. And they're quite random, because there's too many things you read. You never know what they'll ask. So, and this year there was this question in paper 2 regarding buffer community and bridge communities. I think they asked only buffer communities. Sir had talked to sir about this. He had referred to me like Roy Berman's question, that's work regarding this bridge communities and buffer communities. So like what I'm saying is that try to keep your sources diverse, but in the end try to crunch it into small notes which you can readily refer and quickly revise. And if you want any specific topic sources, then I will be able to refer instead of giving it a complete comprehensive list.
You can share.
I think I'll write it and I'll send it to the sir, and he will give it to you.
And any approach difference between paper 1 and paper 2?
Approach difference? Okay, see, this is one big misconception. Many toppers speak about this thing, like you need to interconnect both of them. So because there are many times people, they don't distinguish. See, there is a syllabus difference, but you can use thinkers from the 6th chapter everywhere, and you're supposed to do that, because there are perspectives which you can literally use. If you understand anthropology, it's like a lens through which you look through anything in the world. So you should try to interlink things, but be specific. Try to address the demand of the question, but if there is a perspective which is working out in that specific context, do use it. There is no approach difference. There is same thing regarding answer writing. You have to address the core demand, try to address all the elements that they are asking, and try to do some value addition related with thinkers or case studies or diagrams. I did that. I think that worked for me. And one more thing which people don't talk about much is that presentation is extremely important, especially for optional, because my score jumped in paper 1 from 124 to 141 this year, despite me like not able to complete the paper because of some infrastructural reasons. So there was a shaking bench which I had to put up with. So up to for 15 minutes I could not write anything. So despite that, it did affect my paper, because I could not complete 5 pages. Like it was equal to 110 marker and 115 marker. So despite that, he gave me 141, which was decent enough. So presentation matters a lot. You have to give nice spacing. Visibility has to be there. I think sir is one. He has this USP of giving importance to representation. Okay, you need to make sure that because the contrast was in paper 1 in 2021, I wrote a lot of content, too many thinkers. I think in 120 marker I wrote nearly 15 thinkers for social stratification, because there is this book Essential Sociology by Nitin Sangwan. He was asking, see, anthropology, you don't have much sources regarding this topic, but it is core sociology topic. In that book you have nice information. So I picked up the thinkers and I wrote it. So I did a lot of core dumping of thinkers and matter, but the presentation was very bad. You could literally see that I was there was no spacing and I cramped up too much information. I thought it would reward me, but that did not happen. So people do not focus enough on presentation. The things I want to emphasize. Any more questions?
What is your current affairs source?
Current affairs source. See, one is newspaper. Many people, I don't know, like they say you can skip newspaper. I don't think that is feasible. You need to read newspaper. See, you can skip the elements in the newspaper which are not important, relevant to your syllabus, but you should at least skim through things and at least try to make sure that you read editorials and the main headlines, like which are relevant, especially for polity and ethics. Also, you'll get a lot of examples from there, because they will be unique and you can use it anywhere. In essay also you'll use those examples. And see, the most important thing is that you will not be able to recollect if you directly read from that Vision current affairs magazines. You don't have that element of retrieval. So you should definitely read the newspaper and PIB if possible, because PIB is also very good, but it's quite bulky. I do understand that it's very bulky, but try to do it in the morning of the previous day, because you will have all the news at one point. And I think it's still worthy because it gives like proper information regarding the government actions and all, and it's reliable, obviously. And that, and I also obviously used to go to Vision PTs, because you need to do it just for a leveler effect, so that you don't miss out on something which everybody knows. This was regarding current affairs. And actually I had also attended this Dipin sir's current affairs classes, but I only could manage the PDFs both the times. I also wrote this year in CS 2024 and 2023. So both years I could only read the PDFs of the Dipin's classes, not the 3-hour class. So that was regarding current affairs. Any question, like there is, don't hesitate. There is no simple or big question. Okay, what matters is that your demands are addressed. Don't think about anybody. Do ask. This is not a monologue which I want to deliver. ఎవరికి ఏ క్వశ్చన్స్ ఉన్నా అడిగండి.
How do you maintain consistency in studies?
See, I do accept that this is one thing like which is very different from private sector. Akkada you have weekends, nicely you can take rest, but this thing is like long marathon. Exam process is around 1 year. I do understand, I have been there. You will feel exhausted and frustrated. So yeah, so there are few things which I followed. One thing is that you need to have a hobby. I know it's difficult, but try to have a hobby. Like let it be running or walking in the park or something. Like reading a book or whatever, music, anything that works for you, because you need to rejuvenate yourself at the end of the day, and you need to be happy when you go to bed. So definitely have that hobby. And two is that don't isolate yourself too much. Try to have social interactions. Okay, there should be that element of entertainment. Let it be for half an hour or 1 hour throughout the day. Okay, that keeps you kind of refreshed. Social interactions have to be there. But some people think that if I completely cut off the social interactions and you'll isolate yourself and read, that will work. But it can happen for maybe prelims to mains time, 3 months. But throughout the year, it's very difficult. Don't do that. Maintain optimal social interactions and with friends who are very serious. Okay, there is this rider. Don't hang around with people who are not serious about the exam, because this is a very competitive exam, and this is a very productive time of your age, 20 to 30, and do not waste your time. And maintaining consistency, yeah. See, honestly speaking, every once in a while people do question, nene exam clear cheyagaltana. And not just me, and Tina Davi, I think she had clearly said every other day she used to think, okay, मुझसे नहीं हो पाएगा ना, నేను చేయలేను, I can't do this అని. See, everybody thinks like that. Everybody is only human. Even if you lose half a day or one day, sometimes it happens. We are only human. Just try to ground yourself, clear your mind, and get back to the journey. Many people go through that. It's okay. Ups and downs, you tend to face them. It's all right. What's important is that you go on. Okay? Yeah, I think that addresses that question. Any more?
So, what is your advice to the beginners who just started preparation?
That's again very open-ended and very broad.
Like we have NCRTs and this institute textbooks from many sources. How do you manage them?
See, NCRTs are very, very important. And if you look at this CSC 2024 prelims, you'll see that geography questions he has literally copy-pasted from NCRTs. He's literally copy-pasted regarding those latitudes and how temperature changes. If you see those questions, just go through those questions. Geography questions are literally he has copy-pasted from NCRTs. So never ever skip the NCRTs for any institute books. I'll openly say this. That is the government base which they expect you to know. So definitely go through NCRTs. Do not skip them. After that, the next level is the standard books. You know the standard books, Spectrum, Lakshmikant, blah blah blah. There are too many things, Shankar and all. So I don't want to repeat them, but do not skip the NCRTs.
So the structure of an answer, how much weightage should be given for a case study?
An anthropology question. See, I think this has a bigger role in paper 2, right? I'll tell you what I've done. See, there is a core demand and there is a case study. Okay, so it depends on the question also. Like, is he asking elaborate? If he's asking elaborate, I used to give examples also. In each point, what tribal example sits there, I used to give. Then again, I used to write a case study and within a box. And I think I used to give around 1/3 of the page, because you are elaborating on the case study and you should not skip anything. It has to have this specifics. So I would say 1/3 of the page is decent enough. Or 15 marker also. If you want to go around, but I would not advise going near to half of the page, because like it doesn't seem right. So around 1/3 of the page is decent enough for a case study.
So, what is your
What is your opinion about Lagima Tiwari notes? And see, Apala Mishra ma'am notes I had seen. Lagima Tiwari ma'am's notes I have not seen, but there is one friend, he got 292 in CSC 2023, Yashwant Naik. He said that he had read Lagima Tiwari ma'am's notes. She's from, I think, CSC 2022, right? He said he had read, so I think Lagima Tiwari notes ma'am is good, but I personally have not read it. Apala Mishra ma'am's notes I've read. I think from you can take some diagrams from her. There are some good diagrams. For example, I still remember in paper 2 regarding 6th schedule, we only read the content, right? There she only did, like, she drew the northeast map and she mapped the areas in 6th schedule. So like, we all know the states, but this is what matters. One extra mark is more than enough to, like, it will change that service or group A to group B, or are you in the list or outside the list. I'll tell you this thing. In my in that score range, in my rank range, 10 people have got the same score. So all of us have the same score, around 10 to 11 people. So 1 mark extra will shift your rank to 10 or 12 places. So please be very, very meticulous and be specific and be very careful, because each mark matters. And so try to make that extra effort regarding diagrams, especially. I have done this in paper 1 in this 2023 attempt. Say, try to draw the standard diagrams which are already there. You'll find in the textbooks or topper notes everywhere. And try to draw one more diagram which is unique of yours. I'll give you an example. This question on hominization that appeared in CSC 2023 in paper 1. He asked us to discuss regarding the hominization process. See, we all know we'll draw the arched foot, that and all we'll draw, and all the base pelvis structure we'll draw, the head we'll draw. So the skeletal structure we will draw, and that is about 3 pages, and 1 page will describe the cultural parts. So I draw these 3 skulls, which I felt I had to show. I drew the habilis, then I drew it started on Australopithecus, habilis, then I drew the erectus, and then sapiens. So kind some form of innovation. The UPSC always appreciates that innovation. Try to do your own, and this has to be prepared before the exam, because the exam is like you do not have time to think. You just have time to just recollect and write. So be prepared, like prepare this diagram. So Hardi ma'am also very specifically she had said, like for ethics she had done. I think there is one video regarding what she has said. Try to refer to that. Uma Hardi ma'am, AR3, CSE 2022. Please do watch that. I think that is very informative. And somebody was asking something.
So what is your approach for any subject? Like first you refer to previous year's question, or first you read the books and then read the previous year's question? I mean your approach to it.
Yeah, this is very important. Please refer to PYQs. I think there is one book separate for PYQs also. I think Vikas publication some 10 to 15 years questions of anthropology. Please, it's very, very important, because you will understand what areas to read and what areas to skip. Like that is not like you've not completed the syllabus, so it is not wise to tell you to skip some areas. But see, there are certain areas which they emphasize a lot. For example, Jajmani system. Every year, every alternative year, you will find a question there, that or this Narmada man and this Shivalik man.
Shivapatikas.
Yeah, Shivapatikas, yeah. Shivapatikas and Ramapatikas and Narmada man. Every alternative year, they do appear. So you need to identify those areas which are like short questions. And see, for example, I'll tell you, for Shivapatikas, everybody does the same thing. That phylogenetic charts are there, information is there, who has found it, where has it found, and what age it belongs to, and the physical features, teeth and all. So I did one extra thing. I drew the jaw. I think I found it in some old topper's notes. So what you found in Ramapatikas is that jaw only. All the skull elements was not found. So the primary element is that jaw. So I drew the jaw and I drew the teeth. I think in 21 I drew the jaw. I think it did not appear in 23. So that is what I'm saying about. But it does make a difference at the end of the day. He's checking the copies of around 500 to 600 people. Now in your copy, if he sees something unique, he'll give you 1 mark, and that is more than enough. So that is what I mean, try to impress. And PYQs, it's not important to just see once. You have to regularly see. After you first see the PYQs, you'll understand what to study. Then go to the books, study those elements, and then again see the PYQs, try to answer them. Okay, so it's like a continuous process. You jump between those books, standard books and PYQs. Okay, and you will understand the trends in which direction he's moving. See, earlier he used to ask about these race questions. Now, like he's trying to move away, like classifications and all. But now again, he started to ask like Hutton's classification. In 23, he asked this comparison between Hutton and who is the other one? I think Sarkar. He asked this classification. So he is asking to compare the classifications. So you need to understand the trends very well. Okay. Any more questions?
How you manage your time
In
in prelims?
prelims? See, that is a different ball game altogether. One thing is that see, everybody has their own strategy. Mine was that this layered cake kind of strategy. This you will study Leslie White. He has this layered cake kind of analogy in theories only. So I used to go for the first round. I used to go the question. I used to mark those questions which I was completely sure. Around every time there will be around 40, nearly 40, plus or minus 10. So, and in the second round, in the first round itself, I used to mark, eliminate certain options. Like there are questions in which you are able to eliminate 2 options, right? In this, you have a 50% chance of getting it right. And in those questions, you only there is this set of questions, only one option you are able to eliminate. So there is again 1/3 percentage chance of you getting it right. So in the second round, I used to solve these questions which I could get through with 50% chance. So you have eliminated 2 options, right? Those things I used to do in the second round. In the third and final round, I used to see like how many questions I have completed. Like everybody has this sweet spot. How many questions through them, when you write 50 to 60 marks, you will understand what is the right hitting range you need to have to clear prelims. Like mine was like around 83 to 85. If I attempted less than this or more than that, my score falls down. And at 83 to 85, when I attempt 83 to 85 questions, I get an optimal score in prelims. So you get to know it only when you give around 60 tests. Okay. And also there is one more thing. This optimum range also changes little bit, plus or minus 5 with the difficulty of the paper. If it is less, if it's easy, it goes on the higher end. You can attempt around 90. For me, 92 around. Otherwise, it will go to 80. Number of questions that I will attempt. So this is very personal and very subjective. Only you will know what is your range when you write those tests, because you will sample through a number of tests and you will understand how many questions you should be attempting to clear the exam. So, and the third, if the number of questions which I need to attempt are completed in the second round itself, then I wish to stop. If I need to, but that doesn't happen, I still go short about around 10 questions. So in the third round, I used to see there are some questions which you will feel like, okay, I have read it somewhere, and you will feel that intuition. Like people also say tukka. See, like you know that somehow this is, you are feeling that inception, in like intuition, this is the right answer. I'll go for them. And the other ones which had 1/3 chance, I used to take few questions. So like around them, it used to be like 65 to 70% will be right, and 30% will be anyway wrong. So those are the statistics anyway, but I used to take the risks. So to get to that 82 mark. So this was how I used to handle it. And these rounds now, it has to be done. You have for 2 hours for prelims. So within the first hour, I definitely in the 45 minutes itself, I tried to use to complete the first round, and I used to give around 45 minutes again for the second round. And whatever time is left, I used to give for the third round.
Same for the CSAT also.
No, CSAT is again completely different. Now I think CSA 2023 CSAT was completely different because of the permutations and combinations questions. See, I don't see, this is my personal opinion, but I don't think UPSC will repeat it. They will not ask those, like that was an exceptional scenario. See, again 2024 happened. CSAT was very simple, right? If anybody checked the paper, CSAT was again normal, back to normal. So for CSAT, actually, I had this element of comfort with maths. So I used to start with maths itself. So that might not be the case with you. Again, it will be subjective. If you are not comfortable with maths, go with English. Ananya, third ranker this year, Ananya is there. I had listened to what she was speaking at one event. She said that she used to start with English itself. So she used to give most of the time to English, and those questions which she was comfortable in maths, she used to handle them. So yeah, I think it's again subjective. That's it. Any more questions? Okay, so I'll speak regarding anthropology itself, because you are all from that optional. I have already mentioned about this presentation, and yeah, again, once you complete the syllabus, as parallel itself, try to make notes, because that's very important. Because at the end of the day, the notes you make is what you reflect in the exam. So try to make notes. Don't delay it, thinking that there will be one fine day you will start making notes. That will never happen. Try to make notes parallel itself, and yeah, give good enough space for value addition, which you will be doing in the future. So give like maybe leave 3 or 4 pages for that chapter. Okay. Because in this running notes you will be doing on notebooks itself. You cannot do it in the A4 sheets. So leave like 4 or 5 or 6 pages which you can add on regarding this value addition, which you will doing anyways in the future. Okay. That and tests are very important. I don't know if sir is conducting tests in the middle of this teaching sessions itself, in weekends and all, but you yourself also go through the PYQs, and once you complete a chapter, try to see if you are able to address it, because that is very important, and it will save you a lot of time. Because just yesterday I met a guy. He said that like anthropology is not manageable for me. Like he has been through with that optional for 2 years, and like he's not comfortable with that optional. See, and he was referring to multiple sources, and his notes was very bulky. So don't do that. You need to have an understanding that you need to write either 2 pages for 10 markers, or 3 pages for 50 markers, and 4 pages for 20 markers, and that's it. You do not have to fill encyclopedias, and that is not the approach for the exam. You always have to address the specific core elements which they have asked, and that's it. That is what is necessary. Like, don't try to complicate this exam too much. Okay, this is at the end of the day, this is just an exam, and you need to understand what are the core needs, and you just address it. And it's like a cake. This is the core is like the bread sponge, and like icing, value addition is like the icing. So 80% of it is the core, 20% is just that icing value addition element. So don't confuse both of them. There is one more candidate which I have known. Like, he fills the paper with current affairs examples from the newspaper. You can pick, right? So he used to write a lot of that, and he used to compromise like 50%. It seems, the first instance, it seems very good because he's writing a lot of examples. But then again, it used to take up too much space. Instead of 80 to 20, he used to only give 50% of the space to the core demand. And there is one more thing that is very bad, and he got very low scores. And one more thing is that unless you address that core demand, so for example, it's a 10 marker. If you just address the core demand and you do not do any core value addition, like thinker you did not write, example you did not write, case study you did not write, still you can get 5 marks because you address the core. And if without addressing the core, if you just try the value addition element, maybe he'll give you 2 or 3 marks. You will be shocked, but that this does happen, and it's very dangerous. So don't do that. And when you write the test, you'll understand. And sir is very, very particular about it. I think that helped me actually. I only wrote 3 tests with sir, but he did clearly impress upon me that you need to do that balancing. Because I also used to do a lot of this dumping of thought, thinkers and all, examples and all, to impress them, like in a desperate attempt to impress the examiner that, okay, see how much I know. You kind of overdo it, and I think there is one good analogy. Srushti Deshmukh ma'am, like she's the 5th ranker, she used to say, valuation is like salt. You need to use it in right element, like right proportions. Like if you overdo it, it completely spoils the taste of the paper. Okay, this is what I want to impress. And regarding diagrams, I think I already told you. Diagrams, like in anthropology, especially for archaeology and physical anthropology, they matter a lot, and they expect for you to write it. And be prepared. Like I think there is one madam from 2022 batch IAS, Pooja. I think her name is Pooja. Not able to recollect, but she used to say every day she used to practice diagrams, anthropology, physical anthropology diagrams, skulls, let it be skulls or archaeology diagrams and all. I think there is, like, in the evening you will be tired, right? Like you'll feel like exhausted and all. So she used to kind of give a time of change, or to break the monotony. She used to draw diagrams for like half an hour. I would not say half an hour, but at least keep 5 to 10 minutes or 15 minutes, because there is one more friend, like maybe it's not right to mention it, but she's also a ranker. She's from anthropology optional, and she got very good rank, even better than me this year. But her anthropology score is less actually. So she told me she did not practice diagrams, and she told me that in the exam, because she also did not write tests, she only wrote one test. She got around 275. So she did not practice the diagrams, and even though she knew the diagrams because she read too many times, she was not able to draw it, and it was taking a lot of time. And they were not, like, even if she tries to draw, they're not neat. So do not underestimate the exam, and do not overestimate your ability to draw diagrams in the time. So please be careful about this and do practice diagrams. So diagrams is the second element. And yeah, regarding I've already addressed the core. What I mean by core is that when you read the standard books about any topic, there is something, let it be any standard book, you will find some content. Like it will be very basic. You will think that everybody notes it, everybody writes it. So if I write this, maybe I will not be getting good marks. But that is a base expectation. For example, you have completed chapters 1 to 4. So you will be knowing, let's say for example in the chapter of religion, there is a question on animism. Okay, so you definitely need to write about Taylor. Okay, if you skip Taylor and you write other thinkers, thinking that okay, everybody will write Taylor, and if I write Taylor, I will not be getting marks, I will write other thinkers, my copy will be unique. So this is what I'm saying. E.B. Taylor is a core, and on that you can write other elements, then you will get 6 or 7. Okay, if you don't write Taylor, you will be getting 2 or 3. And people are often in that obsession to collect a lot of content, they forget this basic logic. So don't do that. That is the most important thing which I wanted to impress you upon. That is one more thing. Diagrams, thinkers, I think you will be getting ample of them when you increase. See, once you complete the standard ones and you do that, like and one more thing, do not skip the standard books for the toppers books which I have told you. Okay, first go through them after go through the class notes, try to understand everything. Okay, learn the concepts, then go to the topper notes, because without that you will not be able to understand what the topper has written there. Okay, then again you lose time. Don't do that. First understand the concepts, read the standard books, but regarding notes, try to be smart. If he has already made notes, make use of them, save your time and energy. Okay, and that is done. And from the topper notes you can neatly take the thinkers and all, examples and all. And one more thing sir had impressed is that try to do a little bit of background check on that thinker, like understanding which areas he has worked, because one more sir who sets papers told me that they specifically asked UPSC people have asked them to specially ask from peripheral areas, because there is an like scores are anthropology people are scoring very high. Okay, so now there is a tendency among people that we need to shift our option to anthropology. To stop that process, or whatever reason it is, there is this trend, I think from 2019 or 2020, they are asking peripheral areas. If you look into paper 2 in CSE 2024, 10 markers in paper 2 are like literally so much peripheral areas, like artisanal tribes of Jharkhand, Syro-Malabar Christians, like, and that Apatani agricultural practices, like digitization in rural India. These are not like core topics. They are not mentioned in your syllabus. So these are peripheral areas. So these things they are increasing, and I think you need to address them in a specific. You cannot address them in a very specific way. Okay, you have to be smart. What will you do is that you will definitely know something about them. So write those elements and try to break them. Like once you start accelerating, you understand. Like for example, there is this question on single gene mutations in the paper one itself. So you'll write what causes them, right? Mutations and all, and then like what is the current status, like how many things are there. You'll write examples, maybe a case study, and then you'll report diagnosis one subpart, like how will you diagnose it, and then you'll get treatment, if any treatment can be done. So then again you will write significance, like contemporary relevance is also one thing you add. Toppers do that, like what is the significance of these elements. So you can say that it has evolutionary significance. So like maybe this chapter is not covered, so you might be feeling little out of place. So this is how you structure, and sir will teach you. I think now you may not be getting it, but sir he's very good in that structuring element, even good than people who are in Delhi. I can openly say that, because in 2021 attempt I had taken one GS score, one Sudhir sir's coach test series. He did not evaluate my copies at all, but sir, like he gives you a lot of time, and he will sit before you and he will give you more time than you will put on that question. So he's very patient and very diligent. I think it does help to take as much inputs he gives, and please do follow as he says, because I think he's quite quintessential for me to increase my score in anthropology. Okay, and tests are there, and revision diagrams, thinkers, topper notes. Yeah, I think I've covered things which I want to talk about in anthropology.